Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is the 2 o'clock show and we're going to do it with a bit of a difference. It's all about transfer news, but it's going to be driven by you because you know what? I'm looking forward to this because I just want to be... Let's just get into it. Let's just get into the transfers, see where we're at. I'll tell you what I know, I'll tell you what I found out, and you can put your thoughts in and let's just have a bit of a mishmash of everything really. But look, put a smile on your face because the first thing I want to say is... well, I don't want to say it, but everybody knows it. This Antony story, which Fabrizio's just come out and confirmed was fake, but I think we knew it was fake pretty quickly. It's embarrassing for... It's not embarrassing for people on social media to fall for this. If you've just got a normal Twitter account, it's absolutely fine. But if you're an aggregator or an actual content creator, I saw one of them got done. You might have deleted it now, but you did tweet it. You've got to be so careful. So basically, about 20 minutes ago, a tweet came out quoting a rather big Brazilian outlet, and it said that Antony's agent had said something along the lines that Manchester United are desperate for this deal to happen in the next few hours and an important offer or something's coming in. So of course people are so desperate for news they start tweeting it out, and I'm in a couple of groups and there's one group in particular that's really good, and we were talking about it and people were like, where's the source, and literally there is no source. It's just been made up. But the scary thing is, we're probably in for a summer of that now. In fact, the positive is it's probably best that it's happened because we've been quite fortunate as a community that we've had good information. But I really do, and the people who work with me, and I think the community as well, we really do try to pin it down. Like you can't just go off a quote. And unfortunately, half our fan base has been spun there. What I would say about Antony is what I said on Thursday and what I've said on Saturday is we are in for him. It did start off in Brazil and it is hitting the UK press now. Fabrizio's spoken about it, TalkSport, Miguel Delaney's spoken about it. So we're definitely in for Antony. But as soon as I heard next few hours, I was like, next few hours? That's definitely fake because we're talking about Manchester United. Next few hours, next few weeks more like. Next few hours. So yeah, be careful, be very, very careful. And also, whoever's done that is probably sat at home laughing their head off because they've absolutely spun loads of aggregators, loads of accounts, and it just shows you how easy it is to do it. So there you go. But look, I suppose a few people in the chat are talking about there's not a lot to talk about, Mark. There's loads to talk about, and I want to get into it. I did read something just before I came live about Nkunku and a £100 million bid. I don't really want to go down there. If people throw your questions in and we'll get into it. I really want it to be a bit of a free-for-all, and if this show goes down well, we'll do it, maybe as a weekly thing or more regularly. I'm not going to be driven by the news. We're just going to talk about lots of different things. But in relation to Nkunku, it's not really a road I want to go down, if I'm honest with you. We didn't get Darwin Núñez, and we're not going to spend £80 million on Nkunku when we didn't spend it on Darwin Núñez. That's just not going to happen from United's point of view. But from Leipzig's point of view, I was always told, I think it was Plettigol who said it on Twitter, 99% that Leipzig will keep Nkunku for another year. And I've pretty much been with that. I would love to have got Nkunku. I'd love to have seen what would have happened if we'd kept Rangnick. I always felt Rangnick was the key to Nkunku. And as soon as Rangnick left, I was like, how are we going to do a deal with Leipzig? I don't think we've ever done a deal with Leipzig. I can't think of a player that we bought from Leipzig. And, I mean... Rangnick basically put Leipzig on the map. He basically built that club. So I didn't think it was ever going to happen. Upset if you didn't say where's the lamb sauce, says Bilal. And with De Jong taking so long, do you think we should look at alternatives like Neves, says Slow Sports News? And welcome to the Members Club, Jordan Divishan. Do we have to talk about... Slow Sports News has put a super chat in there, so I feel we've got to talk about De Jong now. But let's just do it very, very, very quickly. In relation to De Jong... What I'm interested about the De Jong thing at the moment, and I might be going off on a complete tangent here, is that the issue with De Jong and Man United is the fee. Now, I've spoken to a few people over the last few weeks about this, and you can see it in the main media anyway if you want to. You can probably deduce it yourself. The issue with Manchester United and Barcelona, why it's taking so long, is the fee. This is 4 or 5 weeks, however long you want to say it, it's the fee. United probably won him for about 60 and Barcelona probably won 80. It's not a massive amount of difference, but it's been going on for weeks. And this is why people start putting bullshit out about how we've agreed terms with De Jong. We haven't agreed terms with De Jong. He won't sit down and agree terms with us because he's still got a chance of staying at Barcelona, which is what he really does want to do. he's still thinking, look, maybe I won't leave. Now, he's open to coming to us, of course he is, but he's not there desperate to leave Barcelona to come to Manchester United. I don't think people put themselves into the mindset of what's going on here. The best way to put yourself into a mindset is to put yourself in those shoes. So I'm Frenkie de Jong. I'm happy at Barcelona. The season finishes and I start to hear rumours that they want to sell me. I live in denial for a little bit. And then I get told, we are looking to sell you. So you speak to Ten Hag and Ten Hag wants you to go to Man United and you're like, look, I want to stay at Barcelona, but if they're going to sell me, I will come to Manchester United. But they haven't sold him yet. So there's still that part of, it's like a divorce, isn't it, from someone that you love. He wants to stay at Barcelona deep down, but he's ready to move on. But they haven't divorced him yet. And therefore, he hasn't sat down and done terms. There's been conversations about what's your sort of wage salary and signing on fee, but nothing's been sorted because there's still this chance of this happening. So the main delay, and I know it's very boring, is the fact is the fee. If we get Frenkie, should we sign Rice or Bellingham next summer? Says Hasher. I still think that Rice will go to Chelsea. I really do, but we'll have to wait and see. Apart from that, Mark, Antony would be a fantastic signing, and ultimately not going for a centre forward this summer could mean us having a fluid front three, even when Ronaldo doesn't play. If Martial stays, says Tyrese. Remember, we've got Fabrizio Romano on the show at 4:30 today. 4:30 this afternoon, we've got Fabrizio on the show. So we'll be, that's why I'm doing a little bit of a Q&A and a bit of a looser show here, because at 4:30 we're going to get some really good information on everything. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you tune in for that at 4:30. Any news about the outgoings, Mark, says Ashar. Well, that's one thing I want to ask Fabrizio about later. In relation to outgoings, the only thing I've been told is that United want to sell Brandon Williams, Dean Henderson, Eric Bailly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Twan Sebi, and God, there's so many of them. Phil Jones is another one. Martial's quite up in the air. Martial is quite up in the air, and I've watched the space on this one. In fact, we'll ask Fabrizio about that one. Anything new on Timber? Seems to have gone cold. Who are you expecting for us to sign this summer? Says Clicker at Wood. If I'm absolutely honest, I don't really have, and nobody who works with the United Stand really has. Dean Henderson's another one, yeah. I don't really have amazing info on Barcelona and De Jong. Never had good info on that. Not going to bullshit. The thing I always love about transfers and what I've got to learn and people I've spoken to over the years is that very few people have got info on everything. I remember when we bought Harry Maguire from Leicester, I got some good info because I knew someone who worked at Leicester, because that's sort of where I grew up, was Nottinghamshire, but it was like literally 2 miles away from Leicestershire, so very close to that side. Sometimes you get information and you're never going to get good information again. Like, I'm never going to get that again because it was just how it worked out. But I don't have anything on De Jong. I don't. Everything I get on De Jong comes from other people. Well, to be fair, there's a couple of people I know who are really good in relation to Dutch outlets, but I don't really have anything on De Jong. Timber, it's been quite good. Antony's been very good. So I can't really offer up anything on De Jong, but I can on Timber. And what I know about Timber is that he is a number one priority for Ten Hag at centre-back. Timber was really up for this deal, so much so that terms had been sorted out with him. Like, there was no issues with the terms. The next step, and I've got to be honest, from what I was being told, and look, it was from club side and player side, I expected a fee to be done by now. I don't know what's going on. I still think it's going to happen. I'm still 80% because nothing's made me go not that. But it has gone really quiet. Like, you can't really get any updates on it at the moment. And then I hear Louis van Gaal today saying that, there's a lot of my players that are linked to moves this summer, but I keep telling them about the World Cup. The World Cup is coming up very soon. Do you want to destabilise things? I don't think that's a major thing. I can understand why Van Gaal doesn't want them to do it. We seem to be penny pinching again this year for the sake of an extra 10 million. I'd like to see us pay it to get the player in a month earlier, says Joshua. But you know what, Joshua? I don't agree with this, but if United have only got £120 million to spend and you can get De Jong for 60 instead of 70, that means you've got 60 left to spend instead of 50, and that might mean the difference between getting Timber, or we might be on a really strict budget. You just don't know. Hi Mark, hope you're well. Koulibaly is going for 40 million. His age might be an issue though, says Mikhail Roach. 40 million, that's a lot for Koulibaly. Today I started with a new job in a logistic firm. Thanks to the United Stand for entertaining me, says Reddy. Thank you very much for that, Reddy. Good luck with your job. And Kieran Smart says, with Nunez, Nkunku and Richarlison off the table, who are the realistic options for United's new striker? I'm struggling to come up with names. Cheers, says Kieran. I don't think Richarlison is off the table. I'm going to ask Fabrizio about this later on, because Fabrizio was the first one to talk about Richarlison to Manchester United. I think he spoke about it back in January on this channel, and then we spoke about it a few weeks ago. So I'm interested to know about that, because Richarlison is... I've only ever been worried about Richarlison because of Fabrizio, so I want to know what the latest is on that. Mark, are we still going to get a centre-back after Maguire's horror show season? And with Haaland now in the Premier League, our defence is very, very poor, says Charlie. I do believe we will get a centre-back, Charlie, and I still believe it will be Timber. But let me just... I don't want to talk about Frenkie de Jong a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you don't want to. Romeo says, I love the title, it's less annoying. Well, we can do more of these. I mean, look, I'm not setting a title here. It's just literally, let's just talk about stuff. I'll tell you stuff I know. I'll tell you stuff I've read. You can bring stuff in you know. We can have a little bit of a back and forth, and in a much more relaxed environment. Because I tell you what, I feel the same as you a lot of the time. I do get it. You know, a lot of our news shows have to be driven by the news. It doesn't mean... If I get it, I'll tell you. But most of the time, like Antony to United is on. That'll be because some journalist spoken about it. So I actually quite like this as well. But one strand I'm looking at the moment around Frenkie de Jong, and I don't want to alarm people. I might be completely wrong here, but I've noticed, and I forget his name. I know his surname begins with an E. Is it Albas or something like that? He's linked to La Liga. He's like La Liga president. And then you got Laporta, who's Barcelona president. And they seem to be at loggerheads. And I totally respect Barcelona and their fans. And if I've got this wrong, I apologise. But I'm observing this as a United fan who wants us to sign Frenkie de Jong. And obviously, it feels like La Liga want Barcelona to sign this CVC agreement, which will give them money, but they'll give up rights that they don't want to give up. Now, the president of La Liga has basically said things like, if they want to sign players, they need to sign the agreements. They know what to do. And then you've got Laporta, who said at the weekend, on Thursday, we're going to announce something that will help everything out. So I'm intrigued by this, because if Barcelona find the money to basically go up yours to La Liga and allows them to buy Lewandowski, Rafinha and everyone else they want, does that mean that they can then keep de Jong? So I'm very interested to see this. And look, what will be will be. There is no part of me that wants United to be benefiting from Barcelona going bankrupt. We benefited in no way from Messi going to PSG, and I didn't like it. I didn't like Messi having to leave Barcelona for money. So we'll have to wait and see. But there's a lot of things going on at Barcelona that are far bigger than de Jong. I think we get locked in on, Barcelona are just thinking about de Jong and selling him to us. Barcelona are trying to buy players. Ultimately, that's what they're trying to do. No one seems to be talking about Chiesa. I think he would be a great signing up front, but obviously not the priority, says Mike Hill. I don't think he's looking to leave to Italy, is he? And I could always see Chiesa playing at someone like Liverpool or Chelsea, actually, but I don't think he's looking to leave. Charles says, with Erik ten Hag, I can see players being actually developed. We might not see as many signings as we think. His high hopes for Martial stays and shows the true talent, says Charles. No, I think we're past that, Charles. I think we're past the whole let's give these players a chance under somebody who can develop them, because we know that McTominay ain't that. We know that Rashford's limited. We know that Bruno needs major work. We know that Martial's probably had his chance. We know that Wan-Bissaka ain't going to be good enough. Brandon Williams, Telles, Maguire. It doesn't matter. I've always used this, and I think it's a really good point. Hey Mark, European lad seems adamant Timber is staying at Ajax. What's your thoughts? I'll come back to that, Fame. Hey Mark, what would we do after we get de Jong? Don't we need another CDM? Yes, we do. NYYK. It started to show how incompetent we are again. All the new United rebuild is only on paper. The only positive is Ten Hag, but he may be no different compared to other managers when signing is a concern, says Minnie. And what other strikers are we looking at, says Ratfink. Okay, so I need to start writing things down here. Strikers, Timber. But I want to go back to that point there. I've said it a few times. So, Manchester United, new manager. Some people, maybe like Charles, say we won't buy many players because we're going to get more out of the players that we've got. I was disgusted with United last season. I'm sure, like many of you, those players cannot just say they were in bad form. They didn't try. That's a mentality thing. When a player exposes themselves to the world that they can down tools, even when 75,000 fans are turning up and paying good money to be there, even when millions of people are watching from home, giving up their time to watch the club they love, some of these players couldn't be arsed. So there's development and there's mentality. And these players have shown that they don't give a shit, some of them. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about Ronaldo and De Gea and Sancho and a few others, but some of them have shown that attitude. The second thing I want to say is, just because you've got a good coach doesn't mean you polish a turd. And I've always said this. Pep Guardiola is arguably the best coach in the world. Why does he spend so much money on Grealish and Haaland? If he's such a good coach, why doesn't he just buy a striker from Norwich and turn them into Haaland? Why doesn't he use a youth player and make them into the next Grealish instead of spending £100 million? Because even the great Pep Guardiola and the great Jurgen Klopp cannot just take a certain player and make them that. And Erik ten Hag cannot come into Manchester United and make Scott McTominay Kimmich. He can make him better, but he can't make him Kimmich. And that is why we need to recruit. Because no matter how much we improve the players that we've got, some of them are never going to be good enough. If we don't get the players Ten Hag wants before the start of the season, it's going to get worse for the Glazers, says Kevin. And Logan says, I really want Ten Hag to do well, but is it just me that is scared if he doesn't? I can see a way back for the club for ages, says Logan. There's no guarantees, Logan, that Erik ten Hag will succeed. And if things go bad, there are players that will stab him in the back, and there is a media that will turn on him very, very quickly as well. And to be honest, there's probably some people in our fan base that will turn quickly. So things can go wrong. As I said last night, I remember Mourinho coming in and everyone thought everything was going to be great. Van Gaal, everything was going to be great. Ollie was at the wheel. Rangnick was going to be, 6 months ago, revolutionary. Things can change, and they can change very, very quickly. It's like your Christmas presents when you wake up at Christmas or your birthday or whatever else. You open those presents and you can't believe you've got them. You're like, oh my God, I've never had it before. This is amazing. I'm never going to get bored of it. I'm going to play with it forever and ever. Next Christmas, where's your present from last year? Like, people will grow bored of Ten Hag. They will get used to Ten Hag. If he's not successful, they'll become tired of Ten Hag. It's human nature. You shouldn't feel guilty about it. So of course things can go wrong, which is why so many of us are really passionate about the club actually getting off their arse, because it doesn't matter whether it's Pochettino or Ten Hag in charge. We need to clear out players and we need to sign players. We've not done that yet. So we could have Poch in charge and we'd be saying the same thing. This is not a job where you stick a manager in and go, oh, you'll be fine. There's got to be a lot of support there. The economic deals will not drastically help their transfers. It will help with their debts. Frenkie has the highest salary that increases every year, says Dan. Oh, look, Dan. I'm absolutely convinced United are going to sign Frenkie de Jong. I'm just saying United need to move a little bit quicker than they are, because I think if United put £70 million on the table today, Barcelona would take it. Now, United might be playing a really clever game. It's not that clever because it's pissing off Barcelona and it's pissing off United fans, but maybe United are pushing this because they're trying to get the cheapest price they can. But, you know, who's more desperate, Barcelona or us? I think they're more desperate because it's financial, but we're not in a position of strength. We're in a position of time limit. I would love Rafinha at Manchester United, says Frederick, with his left foot at the right-hand side. I think him and Bruno would connect really good after their time in Porto, says Frederick. And Bjorn is a member. He says, do you have any thoughts on a young Swede who plays CDM for Reims? Fantastic positioning, good at using his body, doesn't hide, and progressive. No, Bjorn, that's way beyond my level. There may be somebody in the chat who knows, but I'm not watching that level of football consistently, I'm afraid. If you did know that the structure changed a bit internally, would you have noticed it given how we are doing this in the window so far? Says Waleed. I'm sure that Manchester United's transfer structure has changed. And I've got no doubts about that. But what hasn't changed is the ability to get transfer deals done efficiently and quickly and move on to the next one. I don't want to be negative, but my fear with United is that they are building this De Jong deal up that they think it's going to break the internet. And it will. Man United break the internet on any deal. We always do. But it feels to me like they're building it. And it's like Pogba. It's like Pogba in Mourinho's first year. Pogba went all summer. And then it happened and he did the little dance and he was doing all this and that. And it was a good signing. But, you know, we need more than Frenkie de Jong. Like, he's a brilliant player, but we need more than Frenkie de Jong. And I don't think United are reading the room. I think United still think they can pull out a shirt seller and everything's fine. Like last year when we bought Ronaldo, it was very exciting, but the vast majority was still saying, I love Ronaldo coming back, it's amazing, but where's the midfielder? And I don't know whether United have got people in the club who actually understand that football fans of this football club understand the issues within the football club, and another shirt seller. And Frenkie de Jong is a shirt seller. He is a shirt seller. He's a marquee signing. And we always have to have one. I didn't actually... I mean, look, it is a great point for you. This is a great point for you, and I'm glad that we've sort of got the hardcore watching in the chat. Mark, what do you think about Malcolm Eboué from Derby, says Jashandeep? Don't know much about him. He's a young player. He's not going to come and start for United up front next season. So for me, I'd rather we were focusing on that sort of thing. Hi, Mark. Does Inter not owe us funds on the Lukaku deal? Can't this help us get Dumfries on a better rate, says Grant Poltney. Maybe Grant, maybe. I've completely forgotten what I was talking about now because I've just gone and took 2 super chats. So if anyone can direct me back to my mindset, because I've just completely had a brain blank as to what we were talking. This has the feels of the Sancho saga again, says Steve Locke. What were we talking about just then? This is the problem. I'm always very polite and I try and bring other comments in, and then sometimes I bank it and stack it and forget it. Mark, is it the policy of United they will take more time every transfer they does, no matter spend more, sign players, but holes are still here, says Sabatashi. Yeah, I think that's always been the case, that United's transfer policy is somewhat questionable. De Jong not being enough was your talking point, says Dirt. Yeah, I would have completely forgotten that. So high five to you. So look, I'll pose a question to you on this show this Monday lunchtime. In April, we were talking as a community about what we needed to do this summer. And I remember saying, and I think a lot of people agreed, we need to buy 4 or 5 players. And I would rather, at that time I thought we were keeping Rangnick, by the way. And I said, and many people have said it as well, this is a reset. We're not going to win the title for 2 or 3 years, at least. We need to rebuild this football club. And to do that, we need quantity and quality. I would say we need to go and buy 4 or 5 players for 40 million quid. Players such as, and look, Lema was mentioned, Timber was mentioned, Antony was mentioned. He's about 50 million, but nobody was mentioning players. We didn't want to go and buy players over 50 million because as soon as you start doing that, instead of buying 4 or 5 players, you're buying 2 or 3. What have United done over the last 9 years? There's always been a marquee, whether it's Pogba, whether it's Di Maria, whether it's Lukaku, there's Sancho, Maguire. There's always a marquee over the last 9 years. Now, is it right that we're going for Frenkie de Jong? Yes, I think he's an amazing player. I've got him on my FIFA career mode. I'm playing in an hour. Brilliant player. Ten Hag wants him. Very, very important. But we have done it again. We are going for the marquee player again. And remember, only 2 months ago now, we were saying Declan Rice is a good player, but we shouldn't be spending such a big amount of our budget on one player. And actually, all right, de Jong's not as much as Rice, but we're still doing that. We're not going to get 4 or 5 players in, are we? We're going to get 2 or 3 if we get de Jong. So you could make an argument and say, not that United are doing it wrong. This is clearly what Ten Hag wants to do. But there are similarities with other transfer windows where we have gone for the marquee signing with a couple of others again. And we've always done that because United's a brand and they want to sell shirts, would be the argument. I want us to buy de Jong, but I'm just playing devil's advocate again, that we were talking in April, and the interesting thing is that a large proportion of United fans weren't craving a marquee signing. They were saying things like, this is a rebuild. As part of a rebuild, we're better off buying 4 or 5 players for 40 million quid who've got the potential to become 80 million pound players who grow with us as a team. United have abandoned that and gone, no, we want a 25-year-old marquee signing straight into the team now to build the team around. Replacing Pogba with another, basically. That's what we're doing. Doesn't make it wrong. Doesn't make it wrong. And this is what Ten Hag wants to do. But there are similarities between Mourinho coming into the club, bringing Pogba in and saying, I'm going to build a team around him, between Ten Hag coming into the club and saying, get me Frenkie de Jong and building a team around him. And what I always fear about this club, and I'm 100% on board with getting de Jong, I really do want us to get him. I think he's quality. I don't have doubts on him. Some people do. But United have got to make sure they get this summer transfer window right, because it does echo Mourinho's first year. Pogba, De Jong, and then maybe 2 or 3 cheaper signings. Let's see. Bert mentioned once on Talk Sports that the problem with transfers comes down to Glazers micromanaging. Slow operations come down to him, not John or Arnold, says Dan. Thank you for the super chat. The club lost to Liverpool again. Sorry if I'm being snobby, but I don't want to lose to Liverpool. This club will ruin Ten Hag, drag out transfers, says William Turner. Delay in signing Frenkie is understandable. If United wanted to show they've changed, Timber would be a United player by now, says Hasher. And I think that's a great point. The De Jong deal is frustrating people because it's taking so long. But as Hasher said there, I didn't expect De Jong to be the first signing. He didn't need to be the first signing. And this is where United have got it wrong, and I suppose we've got it wrong. De Jong is the deal we know we're working on. United have put it out there. And now it's taking ages. But we didn't need to do that as part of the new world. We should have been working on more than one deal at a time, and there should have been a drop, an early drop. To be fair, we did it with Solskjaer. We dropped Dan James really early, and then Wan-Bissaka and Maguire followed. But we got an early signing in, and it just bought time. Really surprised United didn't go and get an early signing. But is that a concern? Why has that not happened? I think the Glazers are taking their own sweet time approving the transfers, says Matthew Lim. And Grant said, yeah, we spoke about Grant there. Well, look, I'll repeat it and I'll say it again. The Glazers do hold the purse strings at Manchester United. They do sign off the signings. They are the people that slow this club down because they own it. They're the ones who sign off. So delays will come from them. Transfer budgets will come from them. And whether you like the Glazers, anybody, or you don't like the Glazers, the point remains, we continually get fed about restricted budgets, challenging markets, not overpaying. And yet, as I said this morning, the owners are the only owners in the Premier League who take money out of the club, and they take around 20 to 30 million pounds out every year. How can we sit there and say we're operating on under a restricted budget when a good percentage of it is stolen by the Glazers every bloody year? So, you know, they are the issue. They're always going to be the issue. It's whether we can win with that issue. Sir Alex Ferguson showed that you can still win a Champions League. You can still win the Premier League with the Glazers in charge. Is that still possible anymore? We're hoping it is. We know they're a hindrance. We know it's like managing a football club with 2 arms behind your back. And Sir Alex Ferguson still did it. It's whether anybody can currently do it. And I'm not even convinced Prime Sir Alex could do it now with that squad and this setup. And would they give him the money to build another team? It's difficult, isn't it? If we sold players, we would not have to worry about the transfer budget or signing a marquee signing. If we kept Ralph and have Erik Ten Hag, we would have a lot of opportunities to get players from Red Bull, RB Leipzig and Ajax, says Jack. And the club is putting all their eggs in one basket by delaying the De Jong transfer. If it falls through, it'll be worse than the Nunez debacle, says Stephen Ross. But it's the fans that pick that disappointment up, Stephen. It's the fans that have to deal with that. Look, could De Jong fall through? Yes. Do I think it will fall through? No. Do I think that Man United will make sure it happens no matter what? Do I think Man United are in complete control of this? And what I mean by that is, if you're a passenger in my car and we're doing laps really quickly and you're scared saying you're going to lose control, I'd say, well, look, I'm not going to lose control. I've done this lap so many times. I know what I'm doing in the car. I'm controlling the car. But there's always a slim chance that something will go wrong with the car out of my control, and we won't, we might have an issue. I don't think United are in control of this car. I think Barcelona and Frenkie de Jong are in control of this car. And therefore, of course, things can go wrong. I don't think they will go wrong. I think we will be fine. But they can go wrong. And let's not pretend that Manchester United are in control of this. Steve Locke says, now losing out on Nunez, we now see Antony news and we're holding discussions. Do you think United are looking to do a double deal on arrivals with Timber, says Steve Locke? I don't think United are that concerned about doing double deals. I don't think United are that concerned about fan opinion on how quick they are with transfers. They'll do the deals they want to do when they want to do them. I think if the Glazers had a choice between saving 10 million and waiting until the end of next month, or getting the deal done now to please the fans, they'll save the 10 million and ride the storm. They've ridden the Super League protests. They've ridden lots of protests. There's no way the Glazers are going to go, let's get that deal done now and spend 10 million more than we will in 6 weeks. If it takes another 6 weeks to save them the money, they'll do it. I'm equally bummed United got rid of Rangnick, but I can't think of any player who left Leipzig and lit the world on fire, says Julian S. Kimmich, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure he was a Leipzig player. There's quite a few. There is quite a few. But that's not a reason. It's not a reason, is it? It's a theory, but it's not a reason. So, you know, if Lionel Messi came through, the next Lionel Messi comes at Leipzig and says, I want to play for United, are we going to say no? Because there's not been a great record of players from Leipzig. It's not been a great record of players from the Bundesliga, to be honest. De Jong deal will be slow. That's on Barcelona hand, but we should compete other signings just like Chelsea, says Jay. And remember, I think there is a time limit on... There is a time limit on... Kimmich wasn't at Leipzig, sorry. Kimmich was something to do with Rangnick. That's why I was saying it. But there is a time limit for Barcelona in the sense that I think the 30th of June is key for that, and that's 2 weeks ago. So I don't see De Jong going into July, really. I don't see that happening. Somebody did say before, what's the best transfer you've been briefed on at the moment? I haven't been briefed on a transfer. Because I'm not going to get that information. What I do is talk to people and get little bits from here and there and everywhere, and sometimes you put it together. I don't like one bit of information. I never have. Like, if someone says one thing, I'm like, where can I get that verified? Because, you know, that's not how transfer works. You need to knit the stories together. Antony is a good one at the moment. As I said, Antony, we were speaking about whenever. I'm bored of saying this myself, but we were talking about Antony, and I said that's going to hit the European press in the next few days, and it did. So the interest in Antony has sort of been dormant. Man United have always wanted Antony. Man United have always been looking at Antony, even before Ten Hag, and Romano said that today. But since Ten Hag came into the club, Antony's always been on the list as a priority. It went quiet because Timber's gone quiet. Any player from Man United from Ajax to Man United's gone quiet. So they've just gone quiet at the moment, and I don't know whether I think a lot of that's to do with respect. Why that respect is there? Well, Man United and Ajax respect each other, but I think it's because Ajax are trying to work on things themselves so that they can let the players go and get players in before they let them go, which is a common occurrence. You don't want to have £50 million in your pocket for Antony and then go trying to buy a winger because you'll get overcharged. So I think that might be why it is, but Antony's definitely back on the agenda. I think Timber will come back on as well very quickly. In the media eye. Why can't this club buy cheaper players than De Jong? Why does it have to be marquee? Build the club from the ground up. Ten Hag doesn't need superstars, says William Turner. Mark, what's your current thoughts over the window as of now? The frustration is definitely evident now among the fans, says Dan. Dan, I am impatient, but I'm not unrealistic. I think they should have done better, but there's still a lot of transfer window to go. I think they would I have done this transfer window this way? No, but I'm not the manager, and I'm not the CEO, and I'm not the director of football. I don't like how we work in the transfer window. I think if you're a Chelsea fan or a Liverpool fan or a Man City fan, it must be great because it's calm and then it's bang and it's quick. And with United, I mean, I've always speculated, and I'm sure people will agree with me, that actually United like this. They like a transfer to be protracted because it probably generates them a lot of interest in a lot of different areas. So I've always suspected that United like it to be long and drawn out, but I don't think they purposely draw it out. I think the reason, and I've said this many times over the years, the reason United take so long on transfers is because of the Glazers. Because ultimately they're always trying to save money. So we're always trying to save money. And it could be, I mean, I don't think this is the case, but if you do your deals later on in the window, that means you keep your money in your bank for longer. If I'm going to pay you 50 million quid If I pay it you today, that £50 million gone. If I pay it in instalments, I still keep it for a bit longer. If I pay it you at the end of August, I keep that 50 million in my bank earning interest for another 2 months. That's not what United are doing. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But what I'm trying to explain is that the Glazers just want to keep their money for as long as they can. And that's why they protract things out, and that's why they negotiate everything, because they're businessmen. They're businessmen. I remember going out with a girl years ago, and we went to the supermarket to get some stuff for like a party, and we went to the supermarket, and when we were heading out, she got a text message from her dad saying, "Can you get a few items for the house?" Like, I think it was sparkling water or something like that. Anyway, we came back with our stuff, and we were unpacking it for the party to go to the party, and we took his stuff out, and then he was like, "Have you got the receipt?" I was like, "Oh, you cheeky git." And he checked the receipt, and he was like, I asked you for 4 bottles of sparkling water, didn't I?" And we said, "Yeah, there's 4 bottles of sparkling water. They've charged you for 5. It says 5 here." "All right, okay. How much are the sparkling bottles of water?" 50p each. "Give me the keys, I'll go and get it back." I was like, it's a 3-mile drive back to the supermarket for 50p. But he was like an accountant. And some people are obsessive. And I think the Glazers are like that. Every pound counts. I wouldn't have got in the car for that. I'd have gone 50p, whatever. But you've got to put yourself into the mindset of business people. And I think that's what Manchester United are like. We're very business driven. And we as football fans just want to get the players in. We want to get the players in and the rebuild started. But when you're run by business people, they'd rather take 6 weeks to do something where they can save 5 million than do it in 6 days and pay an extra 5 million. And that's always been United's issue. Is Antony a Nunez replacement, or was he always going to be certified target? Also, going back to my early comment on European Lad and Timber, says Fame. On the Timber thing, I know European Lad. He is very confident that they're going to keep him. I don't know how much of that is bravado and hope, but I understand where he's coming from. I think the noises coming out of Ajax are that they want to keep Timber. Even Van Gaal is saying that Timber should stay. So there's definitely a persuasive argument for Timber to stay for another year. But Ajax want him to sign a new contract, and I don't see him signing a new contract. So I still think Timber will come to Manchester United, but we need a big update on that one. Is Antony a replacement for Nunez? No, because they're different players. I think it's a movement of priority. I think we need a right winger and we need a striker. And I think this summer we were going to get a striker, and next summer we were going to get a right winger. I think we haven't got the striker. Instead of going for plan C or D, we're going for plan A on the winger, and we'll park the striker for a year. I think that's what will happen there, if it happens like that. Doesn't waiting until the tail end of the transfer window every season make deals run the risk of overpaying for the players? Yes, Stephen. But remember, we've got business people running this club and not football people, which is another disadvantage. Should we look to move one of Ahmad or Palestri on, especially since we are looking at Antony? It would be really tough for them to break through, says Paras. Well, I did read something about Palestri today, that he wants to play regular first team football because he actually does get quite close to the Uruguayan first team. So he needs to play regularly. But then I do think Palestri, Ahmad, Garnacho, Mabry will go on the tour. And I think Ten Hag will take a look at them on the tour. Garner as well. It's not unrealistic that some of them may stay as part of the first team, especially with Europa League football. But I think some of them, he wants to look at them and then go, this is what you need to do over the next year. Go on loan, get first team football, come back next year. And United, I think that will happen with a lot of them. But some of them have got an opportunity. What I don't want to see is Dean Henderson, Eric Bailly, Phil Jones, Andreas Pereira, Axel Twansebi, Brandon Williams. I don't want to see those types of players going on the tour, because they've been on tours in the past. They've been on loans. Like, we need to make decisions on those people. We don't need to be having another look at players like that. They're either firmly part of the first team setup, which I don't think any of them are, or we sell them, or we loan them. But we don't need to take them on the tour. People who need to be going on the tour, you're quite right, Palestri, Ahmad, Garnacho, Mabry, people like that. They're the players we need to be looking at, because we need to make sure that they're either part of the first team plans or they're going on loan. Anyway, look, I am going to be playing a bit of FIFA in about 20 minutes' time on my Manchester United FIFA career mode, which is on Goldbridge TV on Twitch. I don't know what your thoughts on that show were. It was actually quite nice just to not really have a theme and just go through lots of different things. So I really enjoyed that. But do not forget, in less than 2 hours' time, we are live at 4:30 on this channel speaking to Fabrizio Romano about a big list of stories where we're going to get quite a lot of headlines. So make sure you tune in at 4:30 for the show with Fabrizio. We'll be asking him about everything from Antony to Timber, from Torres to De Jong to Neves to midfield options to people leaving the club, all sorts. So make sure you tune in at 4:30 for that. Is United's transfer window threatening to get boring, says Salah? Well, it is boring. It's very boring at the moment. It is boring. Let's call a spade a spade. It won't stay boring. It might go very interesting in an hour at 4:30 on with Fabrizio. You know, tomorrow, next week, we don't know, but it will kick off tomorrow. 4:30 with Fabrizio on this channel. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and smash a like. Thanks for everyone getting involved. It's the first time we've ever done this like this. I actually quite enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. What's your prediction for Man United's Premier League table, says Nat. Can't do it, mate. I can't predict where we are going to finish next season. Actually, I can. Because of where we are at the moment, I would predict that Manchester United will end up in the same position that they're in now. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you